With the affirmation up or by itself?
Breaking up the bread.
Thank you, Rosie. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that makes sense. It just goes through once? Oh. All right. Yep, it's on the desktop. It's ready for me to double click.
Does she need them? Do you need the mic to play the music?
No, it's going to come through the speakers. It's going to be. Brace yourself. It's going to be kind of loud up here, but it'll carry.
But I don't want the affirmations on yet.
Okay, we'll minimize. We got to minimize the affirmations on our two machines. Yeah, there's 3 machines that we're working right now. It's kind of.
So when do the affirmations go up?
Yeah, when do the affirmations go up?
After the lights.
After the daylight.
Okay, once you finish. Sorry. After the lights are up, after the music is finished, all the lights are on the table, then the affirmations go up. And then after that, but they don't play it, then the guitars will play it. So after the music is ended.
After the music is ended and there's fire on all the tables.
Then you can put up the affirmations.
All right, I understand. Let me relay that to my compatriot over there.
Now, can you read them from here, Sister Magdalene? Or you have them on your computer?
There'll be a big one there too.
Okay, so just read the big affirmation.
That'd be all right? Oh, I thought we had it all put together.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are ready to begin our opening ritual, and I will give some instructions before so that it will go smoothly. For our contemplation, our opening ritual will begin with the Emmaus story. This time it will be mimed to assist your contemplation of the story which gave birth to the theme for our chapter. At the end of the story and the miming, when the Christ figure appears again, the disciples will go to the Christ figure, and the Christ figure will appear as the light of this world. And the disciples, aided by the dancers, will bring a light to each table. We ask someone at the table to take the light from them, and as you know, we are now in the electronic age, so your light will have to be lit from underneath. There is no light on the table now, sister. You will get the light from the disciples. And so when you get the little light, you just look underneath and turn it on. And once it goes on, everyone at the table says, "We will be the fire," just the table. All right? But that will be happening at many tables at the same time and in different languages. So that's okay. The Holy Spirit is coming in tongues. After the light at each table, we will have a prayer that we call the affirmations. It was up before. They will put it back when it's time. The affirmations will be on the screens around the room. I will begin them, and you will answer, "We will be the fire." Okay? At the end of that, we will sing the chorus of our theme song, Fire. Clear to everyone? I hope. Let us contemplate the Emmaus story. Now that same day, two of them, they're coming through the door, were going to a village called Emmaus, about 7 miles from Jerusalem. They were talking with each other about everything that had happened. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. But they were kept from recognizing him. He asked them, "What are you discussing together as you walk along?" They stood still, their faces downcast. One of them, named Cleopas, asked him, "Are you the only one visiting Jerusalem who does not know the things that have happened there in these days?" "What things?" he asked. "About Jesus of Nazareth," they replied. "He was a prophet, powerful in word and deed before God and all the people. The chief priests and our rulers handed him over to be sentenced to death, and they crucified him. But we had hoped that he was the one who was going to redeem Israel. And what is more, it is the 3rd day since all this took place. In addition, some of our women amazed us. They went to the tomb early this morning, but didn't find his body. They came and told us that they had seen a vision of angels who said he was alive. Then some of our companions went to the tomb and found it just as the women had said, but they did not see Jesus." He said to them, "How foolish you are, and how slow to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Did not the Messiah have to suffer these things and then enter into his glory?" And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself. As they approached the village to which they were going, Jesus continued on as if he were going farther. But they urged him strongly, "Stay with us, for it is nearly evening. The day is almost over." So he went in to stay with them. When he was at the table with them, he took bread, gave thanks, broke it, and began to give it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they recognized him. And he disappeared from their sight. They asked each other, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road and opened the scriptures to us?" Then they started back to Jerusalem. We will be the fire. Fire, be the fire. Fuego, sea fuego. Fuego, sea el fuego. Fire, be the fire. Fire, be the fire. Fuego, sea el fuego. Fuego, sea el fuego. Fire, be the fire. And now we will pray our affirmations. We may be aging, but with hearts burning. We will be the fire. With our hearts burning, like Francis, we will place our trust in God. And we will be the fire. With our hearts burning, we will work in unity and we will be the fire. With our hearts burning, we will work lovingly and we will be the fire. With our hearts burning, we will work with hope and we will be the fire. With our hearts burning and guided by the Holy Spirit, we will be the fire. We will be the fire. And at this point, we will move into our roll call, and when that comes, when your name is called, please answer, not here or present, but I'll be the fire. Thank you. Boa tarde. Buenas tardes. Good afternoon. Ana Bernadette Albernaz. Maria Cecilia Bandera. Eleanor Beret. Yolanda Maria Borges. Colleen Marie Brady. Neges de Lourdes Cabral. Catherine Cahill. Iosita Gifritas Campos. Joan Michelle Carberry. Lucy Cardet. Anne Casserly. Colleen Marie Chen. Here. Lorraine Chen. M. Avril Chinfat. Nancy Christopher. Liliani Araujo Costa. Stella Sabina da Silva Cunha. Maria Abagia da Silva. Marinez Aranches da Silva. Joan Dawson. Maria de Pazzi Jesus. Ana Cristina Vieira da Silva. Mariana Barbosa Jesusa. Teresita Marie de Souza. Mary Christopher John Doherty. Elvira Donaldson. Euripides Arias dos Santos. Maria Elena dos Santos. Ann Doherty. Dorothy Dwyer. Marita Flynn. Still traveling. Margaret Mary Foley. Odette Haddad, I will be the fire. Maureen Claire Hall. H. Angela Harris. Jean Hayes. Rosemary Higgins, Dana E. Hollis, M. Donna Eileen Kane, Mary Jean Kennedy, Carol Ann Kenyon, Margaret Mary Kimmins, Patricia Clem, Mary Lou Lafferty, Margaret McGee, Cindy Matthews, Elizabeth McGuinness, Mary McNally, John Kevin McNulty, Gwendolyn Joy Melhado, Maria Miranda, Maria Jose Montero, Joseph Miriam Natali, Miriam Nogales Vargas, Jose Mary Diaz Noleto, Dolores Ann O'Brien, Francis Odell, Sharon O'Neill, Gloria Ole, Maria Gilmargi Souza Oliveira, Helen Owens, Valdeci Patrocinio, Egir Gifritas Pereira, Maria Isabel Pereira, Lilian Cristina Pinheiro, Maria Donizetti Rabello, Patricia D. Reed, Oneida das Graças Rezengi, Aldenir Mota Ribeiro, Helen Roberts, Ann Martin Robany, Maria dos Socorro Santos Rosal, Margaret Rumsey, Diane Rodriguez Santana, Teresina Jesus Santos, Melissa Scholl, M. Bernadette Schula, Elizabeth A. Schumacher, Patricia Shirley, Goyanira Silva, Trinita Solnick, Kathleen M. Stagnaro, traveling. She's here? I didn't hear. Thank you, thank you. Josephine Striva, Janet Sullivan, Sandra Tevens, M. Christine Elizabeth Ten, traveling. Judith Toremio, Chris J. Trikel, Mary Ellen Tucker, Kathleen Euler, Ann Watchter, excused for today, Marlene Weidenborner, Jean Williams, Grace Yap, Helen Rose Yisang. Thank you. Joyce Annette Ramage. I'm sorry. Did I miss anybody else? Rita Francis Gorasi? These are fully engaged. Fully engaged. But I did miss Joyce. Sorry. Thank you.
Fire. The following sisters, we have to make some motions now. The following sisters have been invited to serve the chapter as tellers. So please stand when your names are called. Liliani Arujo Costa, Margaret Mary Foley, Lillian Cristina Piero, Donizete de Fritos Habelo, Diane Rodriguez Santana, and Elizabeth Schumacher. And if this is acceptable to everyone, if you would raise your green cards. If you don't have your green cards, do you have your green cards? Okay, how about raising your hands? Okay, that seems confirmed. Thank you. And if the tellers would please come up. Apparently, there's an oath you have to take. I know I had to drive to the airport, so I missed them. Okay, Margaret. Picture. Okay, you got it? Make it quickly. Okay.
This is English.
Do they have to say this, Margaret?
Yes.
Each individually?
They should say their, yeah,
I,
they could, I, and
Elizabeth.
their name.
Okay. Just say I, and then we'll get your names, okay? And then you'll say it together. You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yes.
Okay.
I, Sister Liz,
Eu, Liliane Araújo.
Eu, irmã Lilian Cristina.
Eu, irmã Daiane Rodrigues Santana.
Eu, irmã Maria Donizete Rabelo.
Sister Margaret.
And if you'd read that. You read Portuguese, fala português.
swear that
Yes.
I shall faithfully carry out this office and that I shall never reveal the choice of any elector, so help me God.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay, you have to sign now. Go over to, in the back? Okay, thank you. Thank you. And then we have a writing and drafting committee. And this committee is responsible for the preparation of texts, chapter statement, which are presented to the members for approval. The following sisters have been invited to serve the chapter as members of the writing committee. Please stand when your name is called. Melissa Scholl. Okay. Joe Striva. Jose Mary Diaz Noleto. All those in confirm that, raise your hand. Thank you. Oh yeah, clap, that's always good. Thank you. The committee review the audit, there's the audit committee that reviews the audit report and makes recommendation to the members for approval. And the following sisters have been invited to serve the chapter as members of the audit committee. Please stand when your name is called. Kathy Cahill, Angela Harris, Goyanira Silva. Okay, can we affirm that? I mean, would you like to? Okay, thank you. Thank you. That's it. Are we finished? I think that's it, right? Oh, that's on the other paper. I only brought one paper, too. Just, no, sorry. Here we go. Thank you. Okay. The chapter secretary, Joan Dawson, has been invited to serve as the chapter secretary and will be assisted by Marlene Weidenborner. Please acknowledge your affirmation by raising your hand. Okay, well confirmed. And the recording secretaries, members of the General Aid staff, Susan Hines and Lisa Hughes Goodwill, who's behind there, have been invited to serve as the recording secretaries of the chapter. If this is affirmed, please raise your hands. Thank you. And the translators, we have deep thanks and deep gratitude to our many translators. And the Spanish translators are Ella Pulido, Ella, and Margarita Gomez. And then our Portuguese translators are Sheila Vincent, Judy Clements, Ellen Dabrio, Meg Geider, Nancy Roberta Sham, Joe Rosansky, and Patricia Reed. Thank you. Okay, and then Carmelita, you're going to be introducing the chapter planning committee? Okay. I am? I don't have a script for that. Do you have the names? Okay. Okay. Well, I would like to introduce, yeah. Yeah, I got them. Thanks. Thank you. And we would like to acknowledge and certainly thank, with much gratitude, for all the work that's been done before we even got here, and then the work that's been done since we got here, and the planning. And I said last night, as we thanked the committee, you have helped us create an environment to welcome God, to be at home with God. So they have really been environmentalists for us in so many ways. So I'd like to acknowledge Ann Doherty. If you all stand, at each one as I call you. Kathy Doyle, Margaret Jean Kennedy, Guel Mejedo, Aldeniamoto Ribeiro, Goya Niera Silva, Kathy Euler, Jeannie Williams, and serving as the secretary is Dolores O'Brien. Nancy Christopher is the chair, and Pat Tyre the translator. She's not able to be with us. And on behalf of leadership, we had Margaret McGee. Maravillosa. And of course, our facilitator who's been with us for 2 years, Carmelita? About a year and a half. We certainly appreciate Carmelita for getting us here. And then, again, our liturgist, Renee Simonellic. Close? Okay, where is she? Oh, thanks. Okay, am I passing this over to you now, Carmelita? I'm happy.
My first comment is, it's wonderful to see all the kissing and the hugging. Much tenderness and welcoming home with one another. And in the
most amazing way, I think we're going to have about an hour free before dinner tonight. So it will begin to give you a chance to be present and caring for one another. This purpose of this presentation is to give you a sense of the overview and the context for our week. Now, this logo, this inspiration, after much dialogue, image of heart, image of fire, image of consummation, I am very struck by the response at the roll call, how it is already being fulfilled. I will be the fire. That absolute conviction of being God's presence in our world. And so it is no longer simply image, but alive and fashioning each of you and the congregation. When we began this work, Sisters and Associates, we began it in the context of being a learning community. What that essentially is to live in the consciousness that we are more than our individual selves, that we have been baptized into a way of life that is Christic and is meant to be redemptive in our world and in our church. This sense of having the whole, of the movement of we are more than our individual selves, is held in having the courage to have a sense of future, what is God's longing, great clarity about core purpose, never being distracted or seduced, and in this instance being informed by Franciscan charism, giving this unique vision and mission to the Franciscan Sisters of Allegany and Associates. It so vividly recalls to mind Johann Metz's, we are in this religious way of life called to be the radical memory of Jesus Christ in the church and in the world. This movement of Franciscan life and mission is not for its own self. It is for the second movement, which is that of building right relationships, building the reign of God. And much of what we're doing over the next 7 or 8 days is self-organizing ourselves so that we can give fully to that movement of building right relationship from the lens of Franciscan. Now, how we have gone about this work has been in this way. We discovered very early on this living tradition that St. Clare of Assisi gave to the Franciscan way of life. This movement of gazing, of considering, of contemplating, and of imitating. And last fall, we began via assemblies to very intentionally break open this concept and ask how it might apply to both preparation for chapter agenda and for discernment of nomination and election. It has proven to be a pathway for very meaningful dialogue among you. We know that to walk in the tradition Clare has given you, to gaze lovingly, to consider critically, to contemplate, seeking freedom, and then to act, to imitate, is born of the description of discernment. Which is to live the Spirit. I think many of you recognize this. To live with the Spirit of God is to be a listener. It is to keep the vigil of mystery earthless and still. One leans to catch the stirring of the Spirit, strange as the wind's will. Nothing describes a general chapter better than it is keeping the vigil of mystery, earthless and still, the whole body leaning to catch the Spirit, so that you might know what it is God is asking of you. Now, our chapter agenda, the discernment that is before us, is literally in the heart of Franciscan spirituality. And many times the chapter planning committee has had moments of clarity that all of the agenda is indeed specific expressions of dimensions of Franciscan spirituality. Remember the image of deep dive. So in the heart of Franciscan spirituality, the application today of mission and ministry in these times from a Franciscan lens. Expressions of Franciscan life in the church and world today. Our sister Mother Earth, and ultimately the discernment of nomination and election. And also some reflections about governance and leadership. Now, it is manifestly evident that the birthing of something new in our times is done in the consciousness of deep rootedness in a living tradition, not an ossified, dry bones tradition, but a tradition that is vibrant and living. So you have already had visitation for eons of time with this theme of Franciscan spirituality, with our sister Mother Earth, with expressions of Franciscan life, and surely in your faithful discernment of nomination and election. But it is from you at last fall 2015 assemblies in October, November, and December that clarity emerged, that from your vision, this was what God was asking of you to explore. And so here we are this day. Our process for all of the chapter sessions is in this movement that you have seen before of gazing, of looking with loving eyes on the desire, the profound goodness and abundance that is present, and looking upon the terrible, wretched suffering that is present. And how does it inform us in terms of Franciscan spirituality? Another movement it is consider. Our chapter presenters will be enormously helpful in setting this table for us. They will invite us to reflect upon the living tradition, upon the sensus fidelium, the community of the faithful now, trying to more fully grasp how is it that we must act, and also the reality of knowledge as it informs us now, considering the chapter agenda. And to contemplate, to behold mystery, to behold desire. This will be supported by the process of chapter, which I think you are quite adept at already, which is contemplative dialogue, quiet reflection, followed by the dialogue, followed by another deep listening in the large circle. Beholding mystery and desire. And then ultimately this movement of imitate, of action, that through our contemplative dialogue together, through our pursuit of congregational good, this chapter body will have the spiritual freedom to give expression to whatever it is that God is asking of you. Many times we have spoken about contemplative dialogue, and sitting with these 2 slides yesterday, I thought we need to be encouraged that probably the most significant of these 5, and all are significant, is this first, our capacity to listen deeply to one another. May that be the grace of this chapter, that we have listened deeply and have a sense of well-being about what we believe God is asking of us. This is familiar pathway. We'll be calling it to mind again and again. And so the table is set. The chapter table is set, and all are welcomed. It is a lavish table setting. Mother House hospitality and gracious presence is manifest to all of us. And it is sustained by a staff that is generous and caring and happily serving us. We are surrounded, this chapter table, by ambiance. Beauty from the entrance, the chapel, the patio, this chapter room. And watching over all of it are all of your photographs hovering in the corridors, hanging from the ceilings. And for this chapter table, Bolivia, Brazil, the United States have arrived in cars and on wings. And some are very weary in soul and body. But we were all reassured by sisters' presence at the airports and bag lunches for the road, the hospitality of table. And sustaining this chapter table is that we have lovely renovated bedrooms, mind you, with bathrooms, of all things, and campus space, giving each of us solitude and rest, and wonderful social moments through the weeks to welcome friends and former members, to delight in our intercultural richness, to thank those who have served. And our souls, minds, and imaginations will be fed at this table by those who present, who invite us into contemplative dialogue, into deep listening and decision-making. And surely we are sustained in the rich fare of Eucharist, of contemplative prayer, of rituals, so that we might remember and we might celebrate. So the table setting is complete. For you, the sisters and associates of this Franciscan tradition of Allegany are present. Present at the table to listen deeply to one another, to companion one another, and to unfold God's desires of you during these coming 4 years. So we say, welcome to a lavish table, a table of abundance, and we are so grateful. We pray our dinner grace, which is our chapter prayer, and I invite you. Most High, So welcome. And now here are a few thoughts about what will keep all of us in a state of prudent happiness. To quote your Claire. Now, sisters, here's just some hands-on. We want to encourage that the Mother House sisters are the first to go to the dining room and into the food line, and we would ask that all of us help to support that movement. Ultimately, it will greatly ease up the food service, and you see this lovely patio, and there will be food service on the patio as well. So we are so fortunate. Secondly, it is important at all sessions to have your chapter folders. You just never know when we might need red, yellow, and green cards. The schedule is there. It would be very resourceful. There are these wonderful tote bags that these folders just fit neatly into. So, and also, obviously, for Eucharist, the prayer aid, the beautiful prayer resource, will always be needed at liturgical prayer. Now, here is one that will make us deeply happy. All sessions of the chapter are going to begin at the appointed hour. And to help us do that, do you all remember the Mother House bell? It's a very significant bell. And it's going to be ringing through the corridors and through the patio. When you hear that ancient sound, will you please begin to move to this chapter room? We will begin the session here using a gong that will call us into silent presence. Why this will make us so happy as a chapter planning committee is we will not have to be cutting back on the table dialogue and the listening time because we're losing so much time waiting to convene. So can you hear it? It's calm and good. So make that option, move with that bell. Some of you could dance in here with it. So, I'm quite amazed at this. I think we are free until dinner at 5, which is lovely. Yes, Liz. Yes.
Hello, I am Liz. I am putting ahead of the transportation. There will be flyers out in the back on the tables. So before you leave the building, please grab a flyer. They will tell you when the van is coming and going. The van will be leaving for the townhouses tonight at 6:30. And then tonight there's a shopping schedule as well. It'll tell you when it's arriving in the morning through the townhouses. And tomorrow morning, the van will be picking people up at 8:30 in the morning. If you see someone with a name badge that has a green circle, it means that they are a driver and they're willing to take you where you need to go. So please, can I ask the drivers to please stand just so that they can be seen? And there's a list of available drivers that will also be on that back table. So in summary, before you leave, there will be handouts on that back table about the van schedule for today and tomorrow. Tomorrow on your tables, it will be for tomorrow and the next day and so forth. But please do feel free to stop anyone with a green circle on their name badge if you need to go somewhere after chapter during the off hours. Mary Jean, did you have anything to say?
What I was going to say.
That's be fine.
Okay. I had to check with the boss here. For those in the townhouses, get into any car that's coming this way. Do not pick specific cars and wait for specific people. Please, get in the cars and you'll get here. We would like to suggest that 15 minutes before you need to be here, either for chapel or for here, that you are in the cars 15 minutes before. And then when a car is full, it will merely come up here. Again, please don't wait for your friends. You'll see them when they get here, okay? That will be a great help. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kathy Doyle, the co-director of the Associates, and I know there are associates scattered among this room. If we could all come over here while we're waiting to go upstairs, then we can gather and kind of form some kind of a plan where we can meet, because people are going to be coming and going all week. So as we leave this, as everyone else is leaving, if you could just meet with me over here. Thank you.
Now, yes. Thank you. Pat is asking that the candles be extinguished and turned on for morning. And now have a happy hour, an hour of leisure.